Hi, CJ the Cardigan Banker here, and this month we're talking all things family business. Hello, hello, and welcome. Today we have with us for Money Moments with Friends, Mrs. Deondra Hagans. She is a very dear friend of mine, so I'm happy she was able to spare a few moments and speak with us about her business, Paradise. So, Miss Deondra, just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your business, and then we can get started.
Perfect. First of all, thank you so much for inviting. Privileged to speak with you, CJ, the Cardigan Banker, excuse me. And my business, of course, you've already introduced me, Deondra Hagans, CJ, friends from a long time ago, in college, broke together, and now look, we're talking about money moments and what this means for our community and how important it is. So definitely a privilege to be here. You mentioned my business, Paradise. Paradise consists of a couple of different business ventures. It's an LLC, so it snowballs and concessions as well as vending.
Nice, nice. So I always like to start these interviews by asking, what is your first memory of money? So this could have been, I remember I had a piggy bank. I remember my mom taking me to open up a bank account, or I remember having money, not having money. Just what was your first memory of money?
Wow. So when thinking of this question, it brought back so many sweet memories. First of all, as a child, I remember having chores around the house and having to do chores to collect money. I mean, even with my dad having me outside cutting the grass, I was out there cutting the grass, all kind of zigzags, because I wanted to get money. But I remember even as a young child, I liked to save my money. So what I would do to save my money is I would get my little allowance, and I would put it in just a regular little bag, like a Ziploc bag or any kind of bag, and I would throw it under my dresser so nobody could get to it. And sometimes I couldn't even get to it. So that was my first memory of money in my first savings account, clearly.
So that's so funny that you say that essentially you were hiding money. So you are the oldest of four. So how important is it to you to build generational wealth for future generations?
Wow, CC. Generational wealth, honestly, is so important. So important, not even in just all of the minority communities, but Black communities for sure. It's like generational wealth has become a passion of mine because of the fact that, it's something that now we're talking a lot about, but we don't grow up talking a lot about it. As Black individuals, women, men, children, we grow up learning work ethic. Hard work pays off. We grow up learning those things, but what does that really mean? What does the real estate mean? What does money actually mean as far as valuing money, saving, how to technically manage money and get money to work for you? So that to me is all generational wealth. Not the money aspect for sure, real estate, but also the knowledge. That's more important.
Right. Like I said, I always like to start with the first memory of money, because I feel like whatever that person's first memory of money is, it definitely folds into their views around building wealth. So, I've done these interviews a few times now, and, you may have one person that says, oh, I just remember never having money, and so now I'm very frugal. Or I remember we used to blow money all the time, so now I kind of buy my kids whatever they want because that's the way I grew up. But the fact that you kind of grew up as a saver, so that's definitely kudos to your parents that, like I said, they had to show you something about saving, because I don't think children just are naturally savers, right?
That's right.
Okay, so about the business. So you are in corporate America like myself. What made you want to go off and be an entrepreneur on the side?
So just like you said, we're in corporate America. We are learning skills. We're learning all kind of hard skills, soft skills, transferable skills. We're working for these major corporations that we're essentially making money for them. I always have had an entrepreneur spirit, so I've always wanted to start my own. Sometimes you don't even know what you want to start yet. You just may have a dream like Dr. Martin Luther King. Just have a dream on having something that's your own. At the end of the day, what really made me go into doing my own thing is the skills that I'm bringing to corporate America and learning at corporate America and making money for this company whose owner I don't even know, the family of the financial institution I work for. Okay, I can take those same skills, those same learning objectives, those same transferable skills, and do the same thing for my business. We're talking procedures, we're talking controls, the day-to-day business operations, and put that same rigor into your own business, as well as investing in people that are trying to come up and develop as entrepreneurs or mentors and our mentees, and train them with skills that they can get ahead in life. So that's really what made me want to get into that space. And honestly, having your own business can be fun. It's real, especially the space I'm in. You're talking concessions and snowballs and vending. Like, who doesn't want to be around snacks and fun and kids? And I mean, it's all about a passion.
Right. And so we didn't shout out our alma mater. We met at Dillard University. And I definitely think that Dillard creates entrepreneurs. There's so many of our classmates that work in corporate America, but they have their own kind of side hustle, as they call it. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I mean, and I get, like, sometimes it can be stressful, when you're juggling this and you still have to meet those deadlines and metrics as far as your 9 to 5. So, like, what would you tell someone who may be on the fence about starting a business, or maybe they're just kind of tiptoeing in? What sort of encouraging words would you give to that person?
So I know we have heard this throughout our whole life, but like I said, hard work pays off. You have to have that work ethic, and anything worth obtaining is worth working for. If it's easy, it's 9 times out of 10, it may not be worth it. So if you know you're working towards a goal, it's very, very important that you stay focused on that goal, and don't think that because Jim, John, and Mary got to a similar goal or the same goal in one path, that may not be your path. You have to stay focused on what's your path, what you're called to do. Definitely prayer. The main thing is making sure that you are ready for opportunities. That was one of the main things I would say I was successful with my entrepreneur journeys, is just being prepared. When I say prepared, I mean having your credit together. When an opportunity knocks and maybe your credit is not where it needs to be, how are you going to finance, or if you don't have that cash money there? That's part of utilizing your good credit, making your money grow, as well as building your credit to get wealth, essentially, and just having the finances itself. I mean, if you're not saving, if you're spending and splurging on all these major things that really are materialistic, you have to think long term, So just having your finances in order. And I'm going to tell you this story, Cece, and I know I might take up a little time, but I'm sorry. So when I first bought my snowball stand, I actually had came from a big major trip, and I had just been telling my hairdresser about my dreams of snowball. She never even knew what a snowball was, because snowballs are a Louisiana thing, Mississippi thing. People out here call it snow cones in Texas. So I had just been telling her about it, describing what a snowball is and how much it's so better than a snow cone. So when I came back from my trip, she told me, "Dee, I still don't know what a snowball is, but these people have this stand for sale." Now, mind you, I had been saving my money. I didn't know what I was saving my money for. I was just saving because I just wanted to save. I knew that if something came up for me to invest in, for me to jump into, I would be able to do that. That's what I mean when I say be ready for an opportunity. Had I not saved my money and I just splurged it and spent it, how would I have gotten that snowball stand?
I love that story because hopefully my viewers are taking the opportunity to just be thankful that they're hearing from day-to-day entrepreneurs. I think it's one thing to listen to someone on TV, somebody that you know, but I think it's different when you're seeing everyday people opposed to a celebrity or an influencer, somebody that just kind of got rich overnight. It's definitely important to listen and kind of watch those steps, like I said, that regular people have taken to get there.
Absolutely. And you have to be humble too. When it comes to entrepreneurship, be humble, be willing to learn, be willing to watch, be willing to network. Networking is so important. And when we say networking, some people think networking is like being fake, and no, genuine networking, like having a conversation, being transparent, being open, saying, hey, this is something I was thinking about, but let me talk to you about your space and how you got this started, and congratulating the next person, and even having the opportunity to ask for, can I mentor? Can you be my mentor? Or can I help you with your business? Just to understand and be willing to be humble. Now, like I said, be humble as you're learning in your business, being appreciative, being grateful, and thanking God for every inch and every step and blessing he gives you, but be bold in your journey. You have to be bold with every move you make, and you have to be intentional on what you're doing with these bold moves.
And that's one of the things, so you guys can't see, but Dee Dee is tall. So you don't see me stand up either. I'm a shorter person. So I'm like 5'1". But that's one of the things that I've always loved about Dee Dee is like, she's tall in stature, but she has a big personality. And I think bold is like a good word that kind of captures you. So I definitely try to do that as well. Like whenever I present, it was my former CEO, we were presenting to some regulators, and I was standing behind the podium. And she said, no, baby, you are too short. She said, come from around that podium. She said, you need to command the room and all this good stuff. So I definitely took those tips because I'm like, this is a CEO of a major corporation. She's giving me tips about how to present and how to command the room. So you definitely have to be willing to take criticism. I could have been like, I always present behind the podium. Like, I'm not going to get out in front of the podium. That would have been silly, but I could have had that attitude, right?
Let me tell you, that's a learning moment for me right now. Clearly, I'm tall, like you said. I would have never thought, the podium is stunting your growth, commanding the room and stuff like that. Although I'm tall, it says something when someone steps outside of the podium, goes from one side or the other, makes eye contact with the audience, engages. It is a whole different level. You engage people in a different way. So you're absolutely right. Like my first initial thought would have been to let me stand behind the podium and, as I get comfortable, maybe come from behind the podium. But yeah, who would have? And that's the thing, CC, that's the beauty of it. Like, I'm tall, but I never even think about it. Honestly, I never think about it.
Your whole family is tall.
It knows. So I gotta put on my heels.
That is funny. Yes. You definitely have to command the room. So I guess the next question is about kind of who supports you. I know you mentioned that you're in corporate America and that you mentor people as well as you have mentors. And I feel like a lot of times when people see successful people, sometimes they feel like they're doing it all on their own. But I think it's a lot of times, a lot of people behind that curtain kind of keeping you out of legal trouble, making sure your contracts are in proper shape, making sure that your tax liabilities are as low as they could possibly be. I definitely think a lot of people kind of make missteps when they set up their initial business because they may think, I need an LLC. Well, maybe that's not the proper structure for your business. I've been doing this as a DBA and it hasn't been an issue. Well, now you're grossing $100,000. So now you're being taxed as a single person making $100,000. You probably need to switch over and do a Schedule C and different things like that. Normally, I give my disclaimer whenever I start talking about taxes. I am not a CPA. I'm not a tax professional, but I know a little bit, okay?
You know your business. That's the most important.
Exactly. So I definitely try to encourage people to get those people. So who is in your GGG? And for the purposes of my definition of GGG, that stands for Goal Getter Gang. That's your financial coach, your CPA, your mentor, your advocate, kind of who helps Deondra along.
So thank you for asking that. And definitely the additional additives of saying, we're not in this alone. We always get somewhere by a help from someone else, whether it's a piece of advice, whether it's a mentorship, or whether it's just talking. I mean, CC, you and I have always, or Carmelita, you and I have always spoke about business, real estate, generational wealth. These are things that are honestly to God in our everyday conversation. It's not like we're literally just having a conversation here that we would have any given day. So to have someone in my corner, honestly, I actually have a tax professional, and for the longest, I did my own taxes, even in college. One of our friends actually said, "Dee, you are the first person who I ever knew to do their own taxes." I'm like, really? That's when you used to have to write them down on paper. Now I'm trying to tell our age. But I have
to go to the library and get that little packet.
My tax professional, like I said, I used to do my own taxes. My tax professional, I feel comfortable going to the tax professional. I don't mind, because I know with all the different laws, all the different changes, all these stimulus packages, everything going on from a business standpoint, I trust that my tax professional is on top of all of that. He has all the software. I go sit in there, I bring him all my receipts, we talk, we chat, we catch up. He asking me 5,000 questions, of course, but I feel comfortable that he's doing what he needs to do from a business standpoint, so that I am totally covered. And I have everything. He gives me all my documents in the end. So it's no underhanded stuff. You have to be careful also to know when you're doing business, and when you have other people doing business for you, or you're hiring to do your business, you're understanding exactly what they're doing for you. I know there's been a lot of stories about this whole PPP program and things like that, and how a lot of scams are going on behind that because people are doing paperwork for other people. Be diligent in understanding what people are submitting for you, because you are the owner of that business, and who is the IRS going to come to, and the government and everyone else? You. So be careful with that. From a personal banker standpoint, go to your local bank. But I go to my local bank that I bank with, and I bank with kind of like the same banker all the time. Talk to him, nice gentleman. He already knows my accounts. You build that rapport with certain people. If I wanted to go get a loan, he already have a good idea of what's going on. She comes, makes her deposits these days. This is, he already kind of has a good running relationship with me, being that I even work at that. I don't work at that branch, but I work with that financial institution. But another important thing is, don't feel like you have to be pigeonholed with one bank. I bank with quite a few different banks. Because I'm always looking at interest rates. I want to make sure that any of my money sitting in my bank account, I'm getting the best interest rate for. B, I've always been told that banking with a credit union is very good, because they give really good interest rates. They're very fast on approvals, and that has been a known fact. Like I said, I bought some real estate recently, and when I tell you, I went to my my credit union, and they were on top of it. I would have missed the deal on this piece of real estate if I hadn't had that type of relationship. So sometimes just opening an account and making sure you're diligent in saving your money, getting familiar with faces, just talking, find out about their products and services. That can help you with your business. What else do we have, CC? Financial coaches. Yeah. Now, what I'm going to say is some of my GGGs is going to always be an evergreen area. So I always have room for improvement. We may shift people here and there, but we're always going to have room for improvement. A financial coach is definitely someone I have room for improvement to add to my roster. Now, from a mentor standpoint, I do mentor a lot of junior executives at the firm. Now, who mentors me is senior executives. And I don't mind asking some senior executives that look like me and some that do not look like me. They may be different nationality, different sex, men, women, whatever. I just want to make sure that I'm getting a well-rounded feedback, well-rounded networking opportunity, and just being able to pick different perspectives and brains on business, on what are they doing in their everyday life, how did they get to their successful spots and sweet spots, and what are their little passions in life and side hustles. And a lot of people, like you said, have side hustles, believe it or not. So just kind of understanding how people translate all that. Even reading, you may be in a book club with people. I mean, some of my mentors have given me books to read that I didn't enjoy so much, some of them, but I read them because I'm like, well, why would they give me this book? What's so intriguing about this book? What made it, how are we going to relate to this? But it's just that effort in being willing to learn, listen, and kind of, in the end, if opportunities come your way from a business perspective, okay, they may remember you have a side hustle business. Let me plug her in here. Or even if opportunities at work come up and say, wow, you know what? My mentee will be really good for this position. Mm-hmm. Now, don't be confused between a mentor and a sponsor.
Right.
A sponsor is somebody who is going to specifically champion for you, right, to get a position. They may not meet with you all the time, but they are very versed in things, right? What you bring to the table, what your qualities, what your skills, kind of what your resume entails. So they're going to always be plugging you in and speaking on your behalf and championing for you when you're not in the room. Sometimes a lot of people need that. That helps you get a seat at the table if you do not have one already.
And what's so funny about that is, like, sometimes, a colleague of mine, like a higher up, will call me about a project, and I'm like, how do you even know me? And it's like, well, I've heard about you, So you definitely want to be ready and able to receive that task too when it comes your way. Kind of like, I feel like the theme of this conversation has been being ready, whether it's being financially ready, being professionally ready, just whatever it is. Be always ready to receive and or give.
Exactly. And let me tell you this too, CC. Don't think that anytime you hear someone who has a success story, mm-hmm. they've been through a trial to get there, right? Everything wasn't all roses and green. Like, I'm currently a vice president at my firm that I'm in now. So to get to this position, I had to apply for quite a few positions. I got rejections. I've interviewed and not gotten positions. And I can remember one of my colleagues told me, it was an older gentleman. He told me, Deondra, let me tell you something. When one door closes, you go through the window. I said, I will.
I love that. Do you have any parting words for our viewers? This is gonna be forever.
I know. I have had so much fun doing this. I don't want to end it. But if I must, I will end with these parting words. Always, always be encouraged, be motivated, be determined, and inspect what you expect all the time in business and in life. And what that simply means, if I expect a plumber or whoever in my business to do something a certain way, I'm going to ensure that the results are exactly what I expected, and you may have to train people up to do that at one point, but don't assume that everything is going to be okay. You have to, especially in the business world, you have to make sure you're doing your due diligence all the time. But be encouraged. I think the sky is the limit for anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur. It's so much money to be made, and it's so much passion, and people are so talented if you just dig deep and just plant those seeds. Nothing is going to happen overnight. You have to take action.
And you know what's so funny is, like, as we were talking, I try to keep these down to under 30 minutes, but I feel like we need to do a series of interviews because we definitely have so much that we could talk about. So if you're out there listening, send me an email or something and let us know what you want to hear Dee and Cece talk about. Thank you so much, Deondra. Till next time.
Thank you, Carmelita. Be blessed and continue blessing the people. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.